language that Representative Greenlick has introduced is aspirational in the way that it's drafted. So it is my understanding that his goal is not to set up a right of action, but to set up an aspirational goal. I think it's instructive to look at the right to a public education as we saw it both in the Oregon Constitution and in Washington's Constitution, and that the difference in the drafting of those two ended up with the Measure 1 committee that looks at the status of our education system every 2 years, I think. And in Washington, there being a lawsuit against the legislature around funding. And so the language, as I understand it, and as I believe Representative Greenlick's is one to move towards an aspirational goal of healthcare.
Well, does that make this really just a political talking point that you want to put on the ballot?
I know Representative Greenlick doesn't believe that. I mean, he would like to set a mark, a mark in the sand that says this. We need to get. We're at 95% coverage now. We need to get to 100% of Oregonians having access to health care. And what do we need to do as policymakers to ensure that Oregonians have health care?
So do you support that goal then?
Well, I certainly do believe it's a political point for campaigns, and sadly, without a checks and balance that our Constitution provides, the only one in the room negotiating these things are Democrats with really, really left-wing Democrats, and so sometimes we and the Republican Party have to apply pressure to the majority just to get them back to the middle. On the rare occasion we can entice them. When it comes to health care for all, who wouldn't want that, right? So the issue becomes, is that a constitutional matter? And so we're going to, have a discussion. There'll be people pro and people against, but the reality is we all want folks to have access to health care. So the question becomes, what's the purpose of this? Outside of the political ramifications from a 2018 campaign where Congress's healthcare discussions may give them leverage in some swing districts. I don't know, but they certainly believe so. But if you look at the reality, it's always going to lead to a demand for public funding. It always does. So it may be aspirational in how it's marketed, but it is absolutely functional in the leverage that they're seeking to dictate public funding. So we have to talk about that. When it comes to the aspirational goal of seeing everyone covered, I don't know anybody who doesn't want to see people provided medical care. If you know somebody who doesn't want to see people provided medical care, let me know them, because I've never met an Oregonian that says, I don't want other Oregonians to have access to medical care. That is a unanimous opinion. We all do.